Hello everyone, happy Wednesday. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the overall market CPI data, earnings this week, and some important news articles that I think everyone should be aware of. All right, so without further ado, let's get started with the video. All right, first and foremost, we get CPI data came out this morning. The actual data for core and for the year, the headline core and basically all of the CPI data that we have was better than the forecast. So that is very, very good news. It means that the market and the economy is becoming better. So we are not in a super reflection. So we're on the trajectory of bettering the economy, essentially. This isn't super recessionary. Things are getting better. And this is what the CPI data is showing. The actual data is 0.1%, forecast was 0.2%, and the CPI headline was 5% as opposed to the 5.1. So things are good. Things are heading in the right direction for the CPI. Tomorrow morning, we have core PPI data coming out Thursday morning, right at 8:30 a.m. People are bullish on these numbers. People are expecting the PPI data to also be better than the forecast. So that is something that we have to take into consideration because we see that the market gave a bullish structure in the candles, or a bearish structure in the candles, but with a bullish PPI data that might cause the market to bounce. So currently we're waiting for this news as well to come out tomorrow morning. Next, I want to just take a look at the important earnings for the rest of the week. So Thursday morning, we have Delta, we have Progressive, we have Infosys, and then we start having the important banks towards Thursday after hours and then Friday morning. So Friday morning, we've got JP Morgan, we've got United Health, we've got Citi, Wells Fargo, BlackRock, PNC. So things are about to get very interesting in terms of the banks. It's going to be really, it's going to be very difficult to be bullish on the banks heading in. But the fact that we just have to see, honestly, but this is just important for you guys to understand. And the banks are going to take an effect on the IWM. The IWM is the Russell 2000. The Russell 2000 has a basket of stocks basically that are most economically sensitive. So if the economy is doing bad or if the economy is doing good, the IWM gets affected by that the heaviest because the IWM has these banks, it has all of these different stocks that are affected by the economy way more so than the tech sector. So for example, during the COVID crash, we saw the tech sector leading the strength in the stock market. And that strength led into the SP500. But the IWM, the Russell 2000, was not leading. It was lagging because it has more stocks that are economically sensitive. When the economy is doing bad, the IWM is not going to do bad. So who knows with this CPI data, and especially with the May meeting, people are expecting for the May meeting to get a 25 basis point hike. The percentage, we're going to take a look at the percentage of what the Fed's potential is going to be for a rate hike into May as well. All right. But most people are expecting that to be a 25 basis point hike also. All right. So you can see here, this is the target rate probability for a May 3rd, 2023 Fed meeting hike. So the number dropped after CPI data came out. So CPI data beat expectations. So this number dropped from the mid 70s to 69.9%. So obviously the CPI data coming in better than expected was a justifiable reason that basically the Fed is not going to feel as inclined to cut rates if the CPI data and inflation and everything is going lower, right? So because CPI data came out good, the probability of a rate hike in May also dropped. So of course the chances of a rate hike is still high, but this is still very, very good. CPI data, the way that it came out was good for the market, and it shows that the economy is not weak. It's strengthening. All right, so there's that. Next, I want to take a look at the Fed balance sheet. So this is a chart of the Fed's balance sheet in the beginning of May. We could see a big spike. We can just take a look at this. Sorry, for 1 year, we can see a big spike right in the beginning of May. We bounced all the way up, right? And now towards the middle of May into April, the balance sheet has been decreasing. So the decrease in the balance sheet obviously is not bullish for stocks. This means that there is less money to be injected into the stock market, which is causing some weakness in the stock market. And what is interesting is that there's an article now, the New York Fed report sees several more years of balance sheet contraction. So we can see here, as part of the annual report for its system open market account for 2022, the bank said that the Fed holdings, which now stand at 8.7 trillion, will likely fall to around 6 trillion by the middle of 2025, before holding a steady for around a year. Holdings are then expected to grow to maintain balance with the growth of the economy and tick back up to 7.2 trillion by 2030. So of course, they're basically trying to say that they want to taper back on the amount of money that they're putting back into the market in the next few years, and then they want to gradually start to increase it again into 2030. So it's basically a market trend. It's a wave. They want to basically not abruptly inject or take away. They want it to maintain itself in a nice, healthy fashion. And that's what we're getting from this article, as well as from the chart that we just saw. Next, I want to take a look at how Apple computer shipments fell 40% from a year ago. So that is obviously very, very bad data, but to be fair for Apple, right? Global shipments of traditional PCs dipped by 29% in the first quarter of 2023 compared to the same quarter of 2022 to 56.9 million shipments based on a preliminary analysis by the International Data Corporation. In its analysis, IDC classifies desktops, notebooks, and workstations as traditional PCs and tablets from this report. Okay. Apple shipments fell by 40.5% from 6.9 million in the first quarter of 2022 to 4.1 million in the last 3 months. That cut Apple's market share in the personal computer space to 7.2% from 8.6% a year ago. And what is most interesting is Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, actually sold tens of millions, I think around $50 million worth of shares a few weeks ago. And this news came out weeks after he sold. So it's pretty interesting that he took some profit on his shares towards the beginning of the year, no less. And it's very, very interesting to see that happened. So yeah, the overall global shipments of PCs dipped, right? But Apple shipments fell way more than the average of the rest of the PCs. Next, let's go ahead and take a look at some AI news. So Palantir plans AI platform for military and commercial customers. Palantir basically makes technology for the military. That's one of the main sources of its revenue. So you could also see that Palantir does well during Republican. It did well during Republican administrations. But yeah, we could just take a look at how Palantir does in the future. But basically, the data analytics software company, which provides systems for managing large data sets to both government and corporate customers, disclosed in a letter Friday from CEO Alex Karp that the company will shortly release our new artificial intelligence platform, or AIP. So you could see that a lot of companies are leaning towards artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a very new technology in the public eye. And what's really, really funny is I saw a tweet a few days ago that had Facebook waited a year, and instead of Facebook rebranding to Meta, right? Had they just waited a year, they would have been able to rebrand into some sort of AI platform. But yeah, timing is very, very funny. So there's that for Palantir. Next, Alibaba some Alibaba news. After Google and Microsoft, Alibaba unveils its ChatGPT rival called Tongyi Qianwen. So basically, you could see how all of these large marketplaces, any sort of company that can use AI, is trying to implement it into its company. And it will first be integrated into DingTalk, Alibaba's workplace messaging app, and can be used to summarize meeting notes, write emails, and draft business proposals. It will also be added to Tmall Genie, Alibaba's voice assistant. So we're at a technological watershed moment driven by generative AI and cloud computing, and businesses across all sectors have started to embrace intelligence transformation to stay ahead of the game, CEO Daniel Zhang said in a statement. So Alibaba is on the right track as well in terms of AI, and that is it for the news. All right, in terms of the charts, what's new? We're still trading within this range. We opened up, we gapped up, obviously because the CPI data was good, but then we just clearly got a nice little rejection once more at resistance at this 412 level. We had a high of 412.17, and we still basically 412.50. This whole thing is continuing to be resistance. Still trading in this range. There's not really much else to look at. I mean, like, we didn't close below any major levels of support, and we're still trading, right? But we didn't break above any level of resistance. So taking a look at the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is still holding above, we're still trading right around the 50% fib. Obviously it had a very big red candle. Technically this is, it should be bearish, right? But because we came to a level of support and we didn't break below it, because the SPY still remained above a level of support, and also because the IWM, the IWM can show weakness, right? But so generally, right, when we have a big red candle like this, there usually is another day that we have to the downside on whatever indice, right? But what the issue is that the IWM is going to have earnings heading into Thursday and Friday, right? Bank earnings are going to start, and tomorrow is Thursday. So usually heading into earnings, there is usually some sort of strength or a run up, right? And given the fact that the IWM still technically holding at support, the 38.2% fib, we haven't closed below it. Technically the SPY is still holding above. You could see the SPY is still technically holding above 408, above the 22.6% fib. And the NASDAQ, we just saw the chart on that as well. So it's tough to say which direction the market is going to go, especially with PPI data coming out tomorrow morning also. So if I were to flip a coin, I would think that we would have a bit of maybe a gap up or some sort of a move upwards in the morning. But, that's literally just a flip of a coin. In terms of the trajectory of the market, we're still holding strong above support, but we're failing at resistance. So I hope you guys understand what I'm trying to get at here. There's not much to look at, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Honestly, if there's anything else that I could do to further explain things like this, I would love to. But yeah, there's not really much else to look at aside from, honestly, there's not really much else to look at. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. I wasn't able to stream these past few days in the mornings, primarily due to I had court, and then I needed to take care of some things in the next morning, and then I had to, basically, it's also the last few days of Ramadan. So we are basically, I don't really get much sleep at night because we are praying throughout the night. So yeah, I don't stream, but I still try to share trades throughout the day. So I hope you guys enjoy. I will try to do my best to stream tomorrow morning. But aside from that, thank you guys for all of your love and support. Hopefully the market becomes a bit more trendy and easier to easier to swing. But for now, yeah, let's just see. All right, so take care, have a good one, love you guys.